I love that. After all the effort we went to co-brand it as League One look and Lower League look, then the video intro has League Two podcast. But it's not, is it, Liam?
Oh, I didn't even notice. But it's not. This is no. Do you know what? This is a segue. This is the transitional period where we're moving you from League Two towards League One. I think so. Let's.
I'd like
call
to
it
say
that.
gently, but it's been a bit of a baptism of fire. I mean, it was always going to be like that.
Do you know what, Hannah? We've always been. I mean, the tagline is professionally unprofessional. So, in the interest of fairness. Now we've done League One.
So now we're a League One podcast as well.
Yeah, don't make me push that National League button.
Well, no, because it's yeah. It's like you say, we're just warming up. This is
we are, and we can either switch between the League One and League Two backgrounds, but we do need to change that League Two background because, to be fair, the League One background is the grey one, isn't it now?
Yeah.
So yeah, we can mess about. Anyone who's watching on YouTube is probably having an epileptic fit right now. Anybody who's listening on Spotify is probably really confused and thinking the visual aids on this are just not
dicking about.
Yeah. Well, Hannah, what have you been up to? It's been a long time since we did this.
It has been a long time since we did like a proper podcast.
It's because we got lazy.
Before the playoffs, probably.
I think maybe even longer. We got lazy. We got comfortable with how the breakdown worked when we realized we didn't have to upload it to YouTube. And now we're...
and people would give us things to talk about.
Yeah, people... Yeah, and then we found... I mean, we did one last week, didn't we? But it just descended into absolute chaos. And I think I offered out flat earthers. Yeah.
Is anyone joining us to advocate for flat earthing?
Not as far as I know. Shit houses.
Good.
I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If you think that was bad, Hannah, I went on Fools Rush In on Friday night. That was bad.
Was this Marvel?
This was Marvel, but somehow it ended up about Jimmy Savile.
Oh.
See, Fifey had a friend on who's he's a Leicester fan, so he doesn't really follow the lower leagues, but he's a Marvel fan. Yeah. And he is so, I've never met anyone who knew everything about Marvel.
Oh, really?
To his level. It was awesome. But he's very much like me in that he'll push it too far. But then we were both sort of very, very much, well, if he's going to push it that far, I'm going to push it that little bit further. And we just kept going. And Fifey had his head in his hands. And he was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, you're going to get me cancelled. We're like, fuck it, Fifey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And we just kept going. I'm pretty sure Fifey's still struggling to sleep at night thinking about it. I've forgotten.
Did you win? Like, I know that I know because I did the Disney one.
I know.
And was a little bit disappointed.
It wasn't a quiz.
I'm doing musicals at some point, and Sophie's adamant that she's rocking up to show me up.
What's your favourite musical, Hannah?
So growing up, my mum was a teacher, and she took us to see, I think it was Phantom of the Opera, and it was so bloody expensive for four of us that she decided she was going to start running school trips, because she would get like however many free tickets per however many kids she brought. So I ended up going to see so much when I was little. And I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before.
When you're going on to do a musical conversation, you probably
I should probably have an answer. I'm going to take Sophie and I are going to see Hamilton on the 3rd of
not sure
August,
what Hamilton
which is when County are playing Carlisle. So unfortunately, I'm missing out on a trip to Brenton Park.
What date?
Saturday, 3rd of August.
When does the season start?
10th.
The 10th. Oh, that's a bit late, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I feel like we might have one after that, like the 5th or the 6th, but I may have made that up. I've written them all in my diary and then kind of promptly forgotten about them all. But yeah, we're going to that. And on Friday we went to see Taylor Swift at Anfield, which was I've never been to I have been to Anfield before, but again, it was a concert, and I'm sure I can't remember it being this bad. We were in the Kenny Dalglish stand, and I have never had so little legroom at a football stadium. It was insane. Like, I'm what, 5'7", 5'8". I'm not particularly tall.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine what it would be like if you are any taller than me, any bigger than me. You know, we were all like row of women all sitting like with our legs to the side, and yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, but
You've been to Salford with me, haven't you? That's bad legroom, Salford.
Oh, I've never noticed.
Mind you, Stockport's press box is horrific.
Yeah, we yeah, it's not where the stand that we're in. I don't think it's definitely not as bad as Anfield.
No, your stand's fine. I sat there for our game playing spot.
Yeah, but I guess it's yeah, but Salford's press box is just open underneath, isn't it? Isn't it just like a table? Like a table.
But the seats in front are very close, aren't they? If I remember, yeah, they are. There's parts of it that are horrible. I mean, I was sat when we played them. I was sat right in front of that press box, and yeah, I'm sure I remember it being very, very closed in. Bradford's family stand is horrific.
Is that?
It's well known.
I wonder if it's like something that they consider now when they're developing new stands, like taking into account that the population has got bigger. Yeah. I don't know whether the population's got taller, but it's something that you have to bear in mind, that they're not. If you're redoing stands, you have to potentially lose some seats because you need bigger seats.
But if you're redoing stands, can you lose the seats? Because they're all on the big concrete steps, aren't they? Them steps are still going to stay the same. So it's...
Yeah, that's true.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But how was Taylor Swift, Hannah?
She was incredible. I'm too old though now. For 3 hours of standing up and screaming and dancing, I haven't got the stamina for that anymore.
Is she Paramore with it?
Yeah, Paramore opened. I had a nap for 3 hours on Saturday to kind of recover, and I don't think I'm still fully over it. But she was brilliant, and we had really good seats, which we were quite lucky with. And yeah, Sophie, it made Sophie's life. So it's all good. Yeah.
Well,
that was it then. And then I've only got Spain to look forward to. I bought my ticket today.
Did you get your tickets for Derby game?
Yeah.
Ours is behind closed doors.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but don't worry, you can watch it for free on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Or on there.
That saves you a fortune.
It saves me nothing.
Flights and...
Yeah, I'm not working there no more. But you also, Hannah, Saturday night, you watched wrestling as well, which was news to me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we know that. We know full well you didn't watch wrestling.
I got acute fear of missing out
when
I saw that you were having a little party without me. What I did was I went on some Facebook. That I am a ridiculous human being, that I am this committed to making it sound like I know what I was talking about. I couldn't even tell you the names of the people that I talked about.
Sami Zayn, you spoke about Sami Zayn, and Chad Gable as well. Yeah, you thought Gable should have won.
Good for me. That was someone's comment on some kind of Facebook group live stream.
You said that Sami Zayn's he's boring, which is he's the least boring person in the entire company.
I couldn't tell you why. You
should watch it though, Hannah, because you you like theatrics, you like that sort of stuff, and like it would be something that I think you would get quite annoyingly into. You'd be annoyed by how much.
But I don't. That's why I don't play Football Manager.
Yes.
Wrestling, I mean, it shows you how long it is since I started wrestling. When I was looking for commentary on the live stream, I googled WWF. So
it's a big panda came up.
Didn't find much. But yeah, I used to be really into it when I was little, like Bret the Hitman Hart and the Undertaker and like that era.
You know, the Undertaker's only just retired.
Have they?
Yeah, about 3 years ago.
Oh wow. But no, I don't recognize it now, and there's too much. It's like trying to watch Neighbours from, I used to watch
Yeah.
Neighbours religiously, but
Just
now
trying
like
to
all the
jump back in.
storylines have changed and
Yeah.
all the people are different and you don't really know what's going on. So
Yeah. Well, do you remember Triple H when you watched it?
yes.
So he runs it now. He runs the entire company now.
Oh,
Like
not
legitimately. Like not in storyline. He legitimately runs
actually
the
runs
company.
it.
Yeah, yeah. So he's called Paul Levesque. He runs the actual company.
Right.
So yeah. So that's a
Because I
little
quite
insight.
enjoyed, what's that film with Florence Welch? Not
Yes.
Florence Welch.
Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Fighting with My Family.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
brilliant.
But again,
She's
like
real, isn't she? Like it's a real
Paige.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Soraya Page. Yeah, it was a documentary, so it was an actual documentary that's on Channel 4. You can still watch it.
Right.
So, Fighting with My Family was a documentary about that family, and the reason they made the film was that The Rock was over here filming Fast and Furious in London,
Right.
and he was in his hotel room one evening, and there was nothing to watch, and he ended up watching that. And he
Oh
watched the
wow.
documentary, and after watching the documentary, he reached out to the family. He found out, obviously, that she'd gone to the WWE, and then he made the film.
Oh,
It's a
that's a
really good
nice
story.
story.
Granted, they didn't include the part where she did porn.
Oh, did she?
Well, I say not willingly. She did it willingly. She didn't willingly let it out.
Oh Christ.
She got leaked.
Oh dear.
And it was a strange time. But
And the
yeah,
segue back into football, because I feel like this is, is that John Cena follows the lower league look account.
John Cena does follow the lower league look account. He loves. Do you know what? I'm a bit gutted for him because I feel like he'd have really, really enjoyed Pete Wild.
Well, we all enjoyed Pete Wild, and I can't believe Pete Wild hasn't got a job yet.
Pete Wild is biding his time.
Well, he can come in and be the savior, can't he? When someone's season doesn't go quite how it's expected, he can be the 10-game savior.
I think that's what he's going. I think he's waiting to see how a few things pan out.
Yeah.
He's got no reason to jump straight back in. Look, he signed a 5-year deal with Barrow last year. The payoff that he'll have got from Barrow.
Yeah. And also, I can imagine him as being quite pragmatic. Like he'll have the summer with his little boy, and he'll just enjoy the time off whilst strategizing and planning.
He'll take the Artell approach.
Well, I was going to say not to the same extreme as David Artell, who left Crew and got straight into kind of working out what went wrong and what he could have done differently. And I get that. Like I can imagine the catharsis of that process. It's like a breakup, isn't it? Like all the things that you should have said and you didn't say. And no. Like the football equivalent of a Taylor Swift album. There we go. It's all wrapped up beautifully.
It's just what depressing and breakup songs. It's just that's all it is. Let's start with Barrow because obviously today we've seen Ben Whitfield officially reject their deal. It seemed a little bit. I don't know if you picked up on this. Barrow seemed a little bit bitter in their tweet.
It was a bit weird, wasn't it? Like his notes statements.
Yeah,
but you've got to love a note statement.
I love it.
It felt, I don't know, it almost felt a little bit rushed. It wasn't incorrect. There were no kind of typos in it, but there was some odd spacing, and I don't know. It felt like it had just been not. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I don't know really. I think from Witt's perspective, I don't know how to put this. This isn't coming from a place of like knowledge. There's no conversation that's taken place on this. This is just from conversations that I've had previously. I feel like, and I agree if this is how he feels, I feel like Ben Whitfield had done more than enough to come home this year. He'd proven himself after getting kicked out of Bradford's Academy at 16.
When you say, so hang on, for
anyone listening, home
is Bradford.
Is Bradford. It's his club. His dad's a season ticket holder. His family's season ticket holders. They still go to games. Yes, the League One step up is great, and going to Burton, we'll come on to Burton soon because Jesus Christ,
I know, right?
But I feel like from his perspective, that's his end game. Weirdly, like I don't want to say weirdly, but but if I was a footballer, I'd want to play for Bradford.
How old is he?
28, I believe.
Okay, so
still plenty of time.
And is he 3 years at Burton or 2?
I think it's 2, possibly.
Okay.
I think he said at least 2.
2 plus a year, maybe option. So that takes him to 31,
which is a prime signing for Bradford.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if Bradford had looked at him in any way, he'd be a Bradford fan. He'd be a Bradford player right now. As a Bradford fan, I'm annoyed that we haven't done that.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off that we've not gone for Ben Whitfield. And do you know what? Looking at the tweets, so are a hell of a lot of Bradford fans.
Yeah.
The fact that what's really, really weird about it, and I think the club knew how much Bradford fans wanted it to happen. The club came out a few weeks ago and said he's not in our plans. Who does that?
Well, I guess it's similar to the
Charlie White.
Stockport County, Elliot Watt is not in our plans statement. When, something has grown legs and it becomes almost a disappointment then when he signs for Burton or for Burton, ironically.
Burton have screwed both of us.
But I don't know, it detracts from everything else, doesn't it? And I weighed in on this I think it was it Jack Diamond's announcement? And someone saying, oh, well, does this mean no Louis Barry? It doesn't always have to be about bloody Louis Barry. I was like, I think you meant that was it. Like, great, this is a really exciting signing, and he kind of backtracked a bit. I was like,
I think you've always got to prepare to not have that player that you desperately
100%.
want. But on the thing, like I've just said, like what you've said about Stockport saying about Elliot Watt, Bradford doing it about Ben Whitfield. Bradford haven't done it about Charlie White, and that has a hell of a lot more legs than Ben Whitfield does.
It's a funny one, that, isn't it? And then Brad Halliday as well, talking about him in his interview.
Which is because they were in a car together. The other day they were at Charlie White's driving. Brad Halliday's asleep in the passenger seat, and he scares him and wakes him up. But it's like Charlie White is either signing for I mean, we've made an offer. We know we've made an offer. He's either signing for the club or he is winding us all up because he's posting videos of country roads. He's posting videos and pictures with the players. Obviously, he went on Alex Gilead's stack do. You look at that, and the club have said nothing. They came out categorically and denied Ben Whitfield, and they've not done a thing on Charlie White.
Has he been linked with anyone else?
Not publicly, as far as I know.
Okay.
I think there's multiple offers, which there will be, you'd expect. If anyone gets a sniff that he's willing to talk to a League Two club.
Maybe he's doing a bit of a, let's say, an Elliot Watt, where they are then linked with several different clubs. And it becomes a bit of a negotiation, and I know that it's happened with other League Two clubs where there's been, two clubs both vying for them, and they've said, oh, if you offer me this, I'll come to you. So they offer that, and then they go back to the other club and say, oh, they've countered and they'd offered me this, and so they've gone to the one with the original offer, which has then been bettered. It's like buying a car, isn't it? Oh, so-and-so's offered me whatever.
We'll match it, or we'll do better.
Yeah, and so Charlie White, all this faffing around, then he gets a load of League Two clubs offering him whatever, and Bradford have to go up and up, or they don't, and it all backfires, because that can happen too.
Well, on the backfiring thing, and this isn't this season, this was last summer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to mention the clubs, but I know of a player who's in League Two still now. I think he's just been released.
Okay.
But when he was at his previous club, he went and spoke to another club,
Mm-hmm.
told that club he had no desire to move to them because he didn't want to relocate. He was happy where he was, blah, blah, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then went back to his parent club or his club that he was signed for and said, they've offered me this, and this to try and get a new deal. The club contacted the other club and they went, he's told us he's not willing to relocate and he's staying at your football club. Don't offer him anything. So they didn't offer him anything. And then he got sold on or left midway through the season. And that can backfire. On the Charlie White thing, so Bradford's owner came out and said he was going to put significant money in this, or the big significant investment, and Bradford fans are kicking off saying, "Oh, we've not seen it." Blah 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 blah. That is surely all tied up into that Charlie White deal because that is not going to be cheap.
Yeah, and also, you know, David Sharp is a certified recruitment genius, so he will have plans. So, yeah.
But if Charlie White doesn't sign, that money is still available. And we've then got X amount to then put somewhere else. So
yeah, potentially.
So yeah, look, transfers wise, I'm happy with our business so far. We've only lost one first team player, which is Matty Platt. I feel like we've replaced him as it stands. We've replaced him. So,
and that was an odd one as well in terms of
straight swap, isn't it, between us and Notts County?
Yeah.
Do you know what I think is the most bizarre transfer for us?
Oh, go on.
Ash Taylor going to Bruno's Magpies of all the places.
Yeah, but they're in the Conference League, aren't they? So
no, but what I mean is, of all the places he could have gone, he ends up going to Nathan Rooney's team.
Yeah,
like that is
but
bizarre.
He gets to play in Europe. Why not?
No, I just mean it's such a coincidence.
Yeah,
that like we obviously speak to Nathan like quite a lot, and then he ends up signing Ash Taylor, and it's just like I messaged him. I was like, by the way. What a fucking unit, because he's massive. He was like, he's going to do well for us. But yeah, I think he is. And yeah, he's gone from Bradford and he's going to be playing in Europe. And he owns his own coffee business. Do you know what I mean? He's ticking all the boxes.
Wow.
Oh, Hannah, his coffee, 10 out of 10, by the way. I'm not a huge coffee fan, but it's 10 out of 10.
Oh, I love coffee.
I'll get you a link.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about some others then, because I'm sick of talking about fucking Stockport.
Right, so who's gone? So we've got quite a few players who've got. Let's talk about players who've gone from League Two to League One, and what people can expect from your Elliot Watts, your Ben Whitfields. Who else?
So basically, what can Burton expect?
Yeah, what can Burton expect? So what else is going on? Cole Stockton. Oh no, because he's gone Barrow to Salford, so that doesn't count.
No, he's gone Burton to Salford, hasn't he? Because he was on loan at Barrow. But that makes sense. That makes sense with the Elliot Watt.
Yeah, and that's it.
And that's it makes sense that there was the conversation there. Look, any League One fans, any Burton fans, to be fair, any League One fans, for the last 2 years, Elliot Watt and Ben Whitfield have kind of been head to head in League Two in terms of trying to be the best. They were not this season just finished because of injuries for Watt, but the season before it was like neck and neck all season in terms of goal contributions, in terms of like assists, goals themselves, and it was unreal to see. And they were so competitive against each other, but like in a really good way. Yeah. Now they're playing in the same team. Like Burton have taken potentially the two best playmakers in League Two over the last 2 seasons and have put them into their side. Like that is, and both of them have said the vision at Burton and this project, because they've got new owners, this project that they're working on at Burton is huge. Like they are delighted to get involved, but I can't wait to see how they play together. And I think they'll
because Elliot Watt had this incredible partnership with Tom Hendry,
Yeah.
who has signed an extension, but
he hasn't signed an extension, has he? I think they've.
Oh, so sorry. Yeah, they've exercised an option to extend for a year, which they would be stupid not to, because otherwise they kind of get nothing from him.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, just skipping down, most of the League Two departures have gone within League Two, or they're like your Cheltenhams.
Yeah.
And the like Cheltenham players that have gone back up to Stevenage. You've got what was your man that went from Bradford to Mansfield? Callum Johnson?
No, from Mansfield to Bradford.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, he didn't go from us to them. He went from Mansfield to us. Yeah, Johnson. But then you see there's loads that have dropped out of the league as well. There's a hell of a lot that have dropped out.
I'll tell you who has gone. Odo from Harrogate to Posh.
Yeah, by the way, Posh they are hoovering up players.
Yeah, and they're doing their normal, like, I mean, at 23 for a left winger, he's almost geriatric for Posh. But Chris Clark from Altrincham, he's someone that we've kind of talked about.
Yeah,
he's 22. He's going from the National League to League One with Posh.
Yeah,
it's
they've
definitely
also
go on.
No, they've said they've also signed George Nevitt.
Yeah,
and they've just 15 minutes ago announced we haven't gone home yet with a pen.
Oh, really?
So
isn't it funny that they've done them all in one go?
So yeah, they've taken George Nevitt from Rochdale. They've taken Odo from Harrogate, who was at Rochdale last season, and then Chris Clark. All within. Obviously, Odo was a couple of weeks ago now, but Chris Clark and Nevitt today, and then we're getting a third in 10 minutes. Who do you reckon it could be? Should we have a guess? Who do you think? It could be anyone from.
It could be anyone from any league. In terms of. Like they do, like your national league, Woking, Aldershot. I can imagine.
Yeah.
But Chris Clark. I mean, the only thing that sticks with me with Peterborough, and I know that Shamanga was slightly different in terms of he'd fallen out at Chesterfield, and he by the time he'd got to Posh, I think. He'd had the knee injury and then he'd come back and then he hadn't really played. How much of that was a confidence issue, but he just did not click with them at all. And I think that's the risk with their strategy. But still, generally, even if they do okay, they can sell them on and make a profit on them. Chris Clark's interesting though, because the fee that was reported was 350 grand, but then Dara described it as high six figures. Well, for me, 350 grand is not high six figures. So whether that's package and personal terms and salary
you've got
bundled into it,
plus potential future add-ons, percentages, things like that. He'll have a valuation in his head of what he thinks they're going to get for that player, and then that'll. And
presumably Alty, because he's still under contract there, they'll have done well out of it in terms of kind of sell-ons and future benefits. You see Lasse Sorensen's gone from Lincoln to Huddersfield today as well. He's been a proper part of the Lincoln family in terms of he's won the community award 2 years. He was in Pinatar last summer and was just a really lovely bloke. But I don't know, it feels like all of the business in League One, like we talked about Burton bulking up, Rotherham, Stevenage. I don't know. I'm massively intimidated by League One suddenly.
Do you know what's weird? And we always talk about the chain and the knock on is that Huddersfield taking Sorensen is because Ben Whitfield signed for Burton. Because Whitfield signed for Burton, as Whitfield signed for Burton, Barrow announced Mahoney from Huddersfield, who's a right midfielder.
Right. Yeah,
and then Huddersfield announced Sorensen from Lincoln, who's a right midfielder. So it was like, right. Like they've just replaced each other. It's mad, isn't it? You see one happen and then it's just like a trigger effect. And you've got to think that Lincoln in the next day or two are going to announce a right midfielder or a right winger as well. And then it carries on. It's insane how that happens. And it'll probably end up coming back to the Burton lad or someone from Burton that's left being the final link and it being a full circle.
Yeah, so Lincoln so far have only they signed Jamie Pardington from Cheltenham and then Conor McGrandles from Charlton, but the other three are all Irish imports, which is something that kind of dates back to before the Cowleys, doesn't it? The kind of Irish connection with Lincoln.
Yeah,
they've always brought players in.
Yeah. Well, going from players or clubs that have signed players to clubs that haven't, and I'm shocked that we still have clubs right now. I'll do League Two currently. So at this point, Bromley have yet to make a signing, which is that's dangerous, especially considering what I found weird is that they've released Bergkamp.
Have they?
Yeah. So he's been released. And obviously his dad and that they were big involved with the club, which
is they were.
Again, very, very strange one. But yeah, no, they've brought nobody in. Crew have brought nobody in.
And Crew have hemorrhaged players, like within League Two as well. Like it felt like the Cheltenham players going to Forest Green. It felt a little bit like that for Crew. Like why would you go? But
yeah, it's strange. Morecambe, who, by the way, we didn't mention last week because we were talking about flat earthers. Derek Adams is back.
Derek Adams is back. I some of me thinks that it's almost a guilt trip. Because presumably, so how would it work in terms of he was paid, or Morecambe were paid by, was it Ross County that he went to? He was bought out of his contract. They then sacked him, and he's gone back. Do Morecambe have to pay back it? Is there a reparations situation?
No, I think so. When he left Bradford, I was told when he left Bradford, he was being paid off. So we were paying him. We don't pay in a lump sum. We continue to pay.
Yeah.
So he gets his way. But as
which
far
is
as I
normal, and I didn't know that until we interviewed Ian Barraclough, and he was like, "Oh, you think that these managers that get sacked are sitting at home on a pile of money, but actually there's all sorts of things in their contracts as well that prevent that from happening."
Apart from Michael Flynn at Swindon, who had the agreement that if he got sacked, he got it in 3 installments, which is great for him.
He knows their cash flow situation.
yeah. Whether he got it's another story. But I know that Bradford had written into Derek Adams' contract, allegedly, that the payments only continued until he got a job.
Right. Yeah.
So once he went back to Morecambe, we no longer paid. So I don't know. I don't think Ross County will have. Well, it's a risk, isn't it? Football's a gamble.
Yeah.
They've taken him on, and it hasn't worked. It's not Morecambe's fault. It hasn't worked at Ross County.
No.
But it's not just that. It's the fact that he left. He left Morecambe. He came to Bradford. He left Bradford. He went back to Morecambe. He went back to Ross County from there. Left Ross County. Came back to Morecambe. Did he come back to Morecambe? Then hang on, let me have a look. I'm sure
he had been at Morecambe throughout the kind of the relegation, hadn't he?
No, so he left Ross County. He came back. Yeah. Yeah, this is his third stint back at Morecambe. Now, he left Ross County in February, and he's back at Morecambe. But if you remember when he was last at Morecambe, when they were getting relegated from League One, they were in January last year. He was asked, like, what are you going to do in the window? And he openly was saying down the camera, "We've got no money. We have no money."
No, yeah.
It's still the same owners. So unless there's been a promise of a takeover, which we know there's an offer on the table, they've spoken about this. Unless there's been a promise of a takeover, nothing's going to have changed. And when you look at it and you see there's so much turmoil at that club. You've got the staff, the CEO, all uniting together and calling the owner out on the club's official social media channels.
Yeah.
And demanding that he sells. That I don't think that's ever happened. Ever.
No, and you've got, players in there that have left. I mean, only two that have moved on are Jacob Bideau, who's gone to Notts County, and Oscar Threlkeld, who's gone to Torquay. I can't even count while we're on the phone. I mean, Jan Songo's up for grabs.
He's going back to Morecambe. I can guarantee Jan Songo is at Morecambe this season.
But they've got this huge list of players who haven't. Joel Senior. There's Jacob Davenport, and they're all youngish as well. The average age is 27. Jan Songo does put that up a lot, though.
Yeah,
but they're all just sitting
players
there.
Have been released. 18 players. I think that's probably the highest in the league.
Oh yeah, I've not seen a list like that otherwise.
No, and for me right now, Morecambe are favourites to go down. They have to be.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah, I agree.
There's just no. But again, and second favourites to go down for me, Newport County. No transfers, no inbounds either.
But I mean, it's the 18th of June, Liam. Let's not be dramatic.
It's the 18th. No, it's the 18th of June. Yeah, but I'm saying right now they are without a shadow of a doubt one of the favourites. But you look at it like they were almost in that relegation fight anyway.
Well, they were. They had that really good run just before Christmas, didn't they? Where they beat us, they beat Wrexham. Everything was rosy. Hugh Jenkins had come in and saved them from doom and destruction, and then it kind of went back to how it had been.
Did I ever tell you what one of the coaching staff said to me after we played them on the final game of the season? I can talk about it now because I just wouldn't bother me now. I can say stuff. So I was on the pitch at full time, and I went over because I thought the Newport fans were great. I went over and I was applauding them, and their players were obviously applauding their fans. And then I was talking to one of their coaches. I was like, "Look, we both go again next season." I said, "We'll both kick on next season." He went, "We won't be kicking on," and just walked away.
Oh,
and that's a coach. So there's something not right at that football club.
Yeah, and they were heavily reliant as well on, what was that lad called? Sebastian. He's there on a transfer. He had a double-barreled surname. He was there on a transfer. He was there on a loan from Bristol, I think.
Which Bristol?
City, I think. He'd been injured for the first bit, and then when he came back, it kind of coincided with.
I'll tell you now. I've got it here in front of me. It was when it loads, Hannah. Right, Newport, wasn't it? Christ almighty, God, you don't realise how many transfers there are in a season until you go back and look at the end.
I think he came last. I think he came in the summer and then was injured. But I don't think he went back.
Palmer Holden.
Yes.
Seb Palmer Holden.
Yeah.
From Bristol under 21s.
Yeah.
But you look at it, and it like last summer, Newport brought in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 players.
Well, there's time.
There is time. But pre-season starts in 2 weeks.
Well, it does, but like all three of those posh announcements, plus the one to come, have come in the last 24 hours, haven't they?
Let's check. Peterborough. Guess who's back? They've put guess who's back. So I think it's the goalkeeper that's signed. So let's just.
Christy Pym went from Peterborough to Mansfield. It won't be him.
Peterborough have done what you don't like. They have
not. Oh no! Yes, I hate this. Right. So this is my current pet hate, and I understand to a certain degree why it happens. I watched.
Just to confirm, by the way, it is the goalkeeper. It's Jed. I can't remember his name, but Jed thingy.
Okay.
The goalkeeper.
Somebody over there.
Yeah.
Crawley. I watched a good. It felt like longer 2 minutes of Crawley's devil going on a plane to go and get someone and dicking about with post and special deliveries and stuff, and then this bloke opens the door and says like something like, yeah, I can't wait to get started. I still don't know who he is. Well, I do now because but there was nothing in the club's post. There was nothing on the video. It was Jeremy Kelly.
Peterborough have not even put a follow-up post to the video.
Really irritates me. And so I was talking to some Crawley fans and they were like, well, yeah, but we're Crawley fans, so we know exactly who it is. I'm like, yeah, but maybe that's the point. It's for the fans and to kind of whip them into, excitement, but it's also informational. And actually, as an opposition fan, you want to know, like, it's a statement of intent as well, a signing, isn't it? And it's this player is committed to our club because they believe in us. But Crawley's one that they've announced today, Jack Rolls, I think it was, who's re-signed a contract. It's in the video, so I'm taking that as a win. It's probably nothing to do with me, but
do you know what I took from the Crawley announcement video where he flies to America?
I honestly, it was too much. There wasn't enough story there.
Well, no, what I took from it was, oh my God, Crawley acknowledged that their mascot exists.
That's true, actually. I had no recollection of seeing him before. Yeah, he's a bit Fred the Ready.
Yeah, their mascot's allowed to be involved in things with the club.
No.
What on earth is that about? Yeah, that's a foreign concept for me. It's a foreign concept.
The Bears going to John Lewis on Saturday. Representing the club at John Lewis.
I'll bite my tongue for a little bit longer because Jesus, I just thought, look, this isn't meant to sound dickish, but it is at the same time. Like, your mascot is for the younger generation. That's your gateway. That's how you bring that new generation in. And if the club, any club, has someone who's not just willing to do it for free, but is willing to give up, to like take days off work to make it happen, to make some little kid's birthday who has no idea and just rock up there. Don't hold that back. Like, why hold that back? Let that thrive, let that grow, because that kid will go to school and he'll tell all his friends, and then those people who were at the birthday party who then saw it, they then are hooked. And it's that tiny little interaction that brings that next set of fans through. And like, I'll be brutally honest. Fuck it, I'm not gonna get in trouble for this, but at the same time, I might be shooting myself in the foot long run. But my club, as it stands, from where it was 4 years ago to where it is now, is not the same club. It isn't. We were a family club. We felt like a family club. We don't feel like that family club anymore. And I don't know what it is that's happened, but there just isn't that there anymore. There isn't. The communication's non-existent. It doesn't matter who you are. The communication is non-existent. There's a level of disrespect to people, and I'm not bothered about saying that anymore. There is a huge level of disrespect, and I'll go out there and say, fuck it, I'm not asked. Right.
I'm just sitting here thinking, shall I clip this later?
No, it's fine. Someone will clip it. But to this day, Hannah, no one at that football club has contacted me to tell me about me not doing Billy Bantam next season. Not once. Not only not told me, not said thank you for the last 4 years. And that grates on me. And I didn't ask for money. It's never been about money. None of that stuff. But it's just like, it's stupid little things. When I go to, I'll name drop, when I go to Grimsby away, and after the game, when I'm the only one still there, when everyone else has left, the fans have gone, the Bradford board have gone, all the directors have gone, and I'm up in the executive suites with the owners of Grimsby Town and the CEO of Grimsby Town, and we're all having conversations, and they turn around and say to me, the best person or the best thing about Bradford City today was you.
Aww.
And then you're like, why the fuck is this happening? Why? What's going wrong? I don't get it. I want my football club back. Like, genuinely want my football club back. I don't feel like it is my football club anymore. And I don't feel like there's any one person to blame for that. People will jump on it and they'll blame Ryan Sparks. I don't think it is Ryan Sparks. It's not. I've seen the work that he does behind the scenes. I've seen the work that everyone does behind the scenes. But I feel like there's too many people that are involved right now so that things are slipping through the net. Because I couldn't tell you, realistically now, I couldn't tell you who at that football club should have phoned me to talk to me. Because no one told me anything. I only found out what was going on because someone else found out and didn't want me to find out through social media. And for anyone who thinks that I've been sacked or anything like that, I haven't been sacked. That's not the case.
No, but I have totally applied to take your place.
You can't have. You know why you can't have? Do you know why you can't have? Because we're sitting here.
Not been advertised.
It's the 18th of June, and there's not advertised. Like there's nothing. And they've advertised for everything. They've advertised for someone to chaperone the referees.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe you could do that instead.
Well, no, they have someone who does that, and he's a really nice guy. And it's then making me think,
well,
where's
at
he
least
gone?
you know it's not just you then.
It's there's so many people involved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anytime I reach out to people, I'm told it's someone else.
Yeah.
And there's that mess there, and there shouldn't be. And it's lost its way. When I first started, I knew exactly who was the person that I reported to and who I would speak to if there were any issues. I know full well if I do something wrong, who's going to call me.
Do you think that is not just a kind of, it's not just symptomatic of Bradford, it's symptomatic of clubs generally becoming more commercially aware and more, we didn't, when we did that, what was that index called? The Fair Gaming Index.
Yeah.
So Stockport scored really poorly on DEI. So there's diversity, equity and inclusion. Or equality and inclusion.
Not equity. You've got plenty of
that. But they have really invested in that. There's this whole county collective thing. There's an LGBTQ football team. There's like a whole kind of raft of things. And so this year we've just been awarded some EFL DEI bronze status or silver status.
Yeah.
Cynically, that's just about box ticking. It's not necessarily, coming from the right place. It's, it's just because at some point, potentially that Fair Game Index might be used to divide up broadcasting revenue. That was the kind of the notion behind it. But I think that scenario is not one that would have happened a few years ago.
No.
And so, clubs like Bradford, clubs like Mansfield, hashtag.
Teams like Mansfield. It's teams like Mansfield, isn't it? Hashtag teams like Mansfield.
Provide, having to almost kind of go back and, make sure that contracts are proper and that there's agreements in place, and the legal side of it is covered off. But it's about the way that I'm not, defending the way that they dealt with it, because that could have been done immeasurably better.
Yeah. And it still could be. It's not.
Oh yeah.
It is literally a case of there's not a single person at that football club that's in a position of power that does not have my mobile number, who knows that if they ring me, I will pick the phone up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. I think the issue is, and again, it ain't just Bradford. There are other clubs that are doing it. Off the field, clubs are trying to act above their station. And they're trying to operate like, Derek Adams said it about Bradford. He said, we've got a mentality of a club that's up here, but off the field, we are a very small club. And I'm not saying I agree with him, but I see what he's saying. And the reason I see what he's saying is I look at Gillingham, and Gillingham are a perfect example. Whenever Gillingham have been doing anything, you've seen videos of transfers and things filmed around like the offices at the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't have offices.
Yeah.
We don't have any offices at the ground. We don't have like a room full of desks and computers where people sit and do their day-to-day job. We don't have that. And this is what I think. I get what he means in that sense. But I don't think we're a small club. I don't think we are a small club. We're obviously not a small club, but at the same time, like there are little things that rather than acting up here, let's fix here and get there. Because they're very, very, very small changes that can be made. And look, to be honest, the last thing that football club needed to do is pay Billy Bantam.
Yeah.
And that might sound ungrateful.
You may be the first person in the history of employment law that has thrown their toys out the pram because they wanted to pay you for a job that you were doing for free.
Yeah, but there's a thing of that, and I've been quite open and honest. And I'll again, if the club speaks to me, I'll be open and honest with them. There's a level of freedom that comes with doing it for free.
Yeah,
and there is, and I get that the club have always been very, very on edge that I'm going to cross a line. Aside from one incident in 4 years, which was nothing to do with me or you.
No.
Which was someone who we worked with previously who put something out that he shouldn't have put out. And I spent hours on the phone with Ryan Sparks fixing. And then me and you, we put the apology out for because he wouldn't. That's the only time there's been an incident. I've done away games. I've done birthday parties. I've done schools. I've done charity days. The day before I found out, I did a charity night with Bobby Point and
cool one.
Yeah, but and then it's just like not one complaint. Not once has there ever been. Don't get me wrong. There's been Stockport fan who kicked off that I wound up that kid when I pretended to throw him the ball. But that's banter. That's what you expect. That's what I'm there for. I'm there to wind the away fans up and rile them up. Billy banter. But not one actual. Oh, sorry. No, there's been 2 complaints, Hannah. Because the other one, and you'll love this. You know Grant's from Scotland.
Yes.
So there's a village around where Grant lives, and there's a page for it, and it's called Braes Blether, and that's their local page.
All right.
About a year ago, we all joined it. None of us live there. And just started replying to posts. But like we would all reply so that it looked legit. Anyway, one of our friends went on and posted a picture of a missing dog and said, my dog's missing. And it was a white dog with a black eye here. So I took that image and reversed it and went, I've just found this dog, but it can't be yours because it's the other eye that's black. And then I posted, have you checked the local petrol station? As I often see dogs hanging around there, and I think it might be a local meet-up spot. Right? We were playing Hartlepool on the Saturday at home, and Grant came down for it. And as I got to the ground, as we're walking up, I just hear this, Liam, yeah? Can I have a word, please? I was like, yeah? So we've had a complaint. Someone on the Braes Blether group has gone on my profile, seen that I'm Billy Bantam, and emailed the club and put a complaint in about me mocking somebody's lost dog post, and I was like, me and Grant were pissing ourselves. I was like, there isn't a missing dog. Like, it is legitimately someone. They were like, yeah, but because you're representing the club, they've emailed the club asking if they think that if the club should be employing somebody that does this. And those are the only two complaints. I mean, don't get me wrong, one of them a pretty big and very valid complaint. The other one a bit silly, but I've not done anything personally over the last 4 years that's brought anything real into it. And it's, yeah, I feel like maybe it's a control thing. Maybe it's we can take a little, if we pay him or we pay whoever it is, we have a lot more control. We can ask for more.
I think as well, it's probably like belts and braces, contracted, like freelancers, and
why doesn't no one else get, like, the only thing if they ask, the only thing I'd say is, if I go to an away game, cover my mileage. Just give me a mileage fee. That's it. I don't want anything. I've never wanted anything. And no, tell a lie. I want a discount in the shop because I think that I should. That's the minimum that I should, like. That's fair. And the first season we got that, and then it stopped. And it just, I feel like there is a disconnect. I feel like everybody's on eggshells because the last couple of years have gone wrong. And I feel like nobody really knows 100% who's certain parts that have been kind of just left to do their own thing. I don't think anybody knows who's taking control of them. And they're all waiting for somebody else to take the reins. And then meanwhile, I'm sat there and I have to find out through somebody else what the plan is. And I'm like, are you taking a bit? I wouldn't mind 3 days earlier. I was with them. The three people that made the decision, I was with in person. And we were talking about the season and the plans and things that we were going to do. And I was like, just tell me. So anyway, that's my Bradford rant. And that's it. Yeah, that weren't planned tonight, but fuck it. I'm you know what? I probably massively shot myself in the foot. And I probably will get a phone call now. But I hope if they hear this, they can understand some of the frustrations.
Yeah.
Like, I really do. Because it's just... It's shit. It is shit to not, like, be the minimum, to not even get a thank you after 4 years of free time and
voluntary.
Which again, I know it was voluntary. I did it off my own back. But if somebody comes and says, "Oh, look, I'm doing, I'll do your garden for free for you and cut your bushes and mows your grass and things," the least you can say is thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So back to transfers, and we'll go to
League One.
League One, right? So after me saying that there's been loads of transfer business, it's at a small number of clubs. So I think it's probably that kind of, Pareto's principle. 80% of the transfers are coming from 20% of the clubs. So at Barnsley, they've only signed Horahan from Derby. Birmingham, this is still showing as none, but we know that they made their first signing earlier on, goalkeeper, boyhood club. What was he came from Hull, didn't he? What was the quote I found that said that he was the best top 10 best goalkeepers in the world at playing out from the back, but couldn't make any saves. That's what I took away from that.
Yeah, so he's essentially is a great centre back.
Him and Courier Dye could, he's more of a right back. Blackpool.
Courier Dye's wherever he wants to be.
Blackpool have only brought in one from Huddersfield. Bolton. Now, Bolton, 3 outs, 2 wins so far. But I don't know, I think Ian Everett's an interesting one because he's still, they've finished in pretty much exactly the same position. Well, no, I guess arguably a step further this season than they did last season. Go on.
On Bolton, the inn, it's Luke Matheson, isn't it? Matheson?
Yeah, from Bohemians.
But his loan ends in 2 weeks.
No, isn't that? that he was. I can never work these out.
Let's say it says end of loan 30th of June 2024. Which is strange.
Still showing as like a historical in, maybe.
Yeah, maybe so. That's weird, that.
Unless they've bought him at the end of his loan.
Maybe so. Yeah, maybe that. Maybe there was an agreement. Yeah. I just noticed it. Then I was like, is he technically a transfer, or is he gone?
But Declan John's gone. He's not gone anywhere else.
So I saw a lot of fans talking about Declan John.
Oh, really?
In the same vein as Sarcevic.
Oh.
Because they don't like Sars. And Sars went on a podcast and spoke about what went on at Bolton. And if you actually listen to it, he kind of,
yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's not telling the truth about some stuff, because he talks about
his angle.
Bolton fans kicking off about him apparently singing Bolton get battered everywhere they go. But what he's saying you can hear the Stockport fans singing it.
Yeah.
When the BBC cut to the dressing room where the Stockport players were celebrating, they had different music on. Yeah. But then someone shared a video of him stood on the side of the pitch chanting it with the Stockport fans, and you're like, maybe he did do it.
He's like, I mean, he was the same with the Wrexham fans.
Yeah,
it's just the kind of player he is, and you know, arguably that's what Stockport needs, more of that shithousery. Yeah. Like the Blackpool fans were saying that Callum Connolly is a walking yellow card. I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
but yeah, we need.
I don't know if you know as well. I want to get your reaction on this. So, do you know the horse and cart video?
Yes.
So he explained that him and a group of players were walking into town, and they saw this kid on a horse and cart, and he was and the players dared him to go and get on. So he went over and asked, and the kid was like, "Yeah, get on." So he got on. They took him down, and he was like, "Oh, look, you know, if you ever want anything, if you ever want any tickets for Stockport or anything like that, you know, you just let the club know, and I'll sort your tickets out for you." And this kid just went, "No, you're all right." Zero desire to watch Stockport County. And then he sent the horse and cart back to go and get the other players. And when they went back to get the other players were like, "No, we're good, thanks." And they just walked. So that's why it just ended up being him.
That's funny.
It is really funny.
No one in at Bristol Rovers yet.
No, yeah.
Burton. They're doing a kind of Rotherham, look at us, we can spend all the money.
Yeah.
Cambridge 1 in, Charlton 2 in, Crawley no 1 in, but obviously Jeremy Kelly re-signed, as is Jack Rolls. Exeter no 1 in.
No.
3 in at Huddersfield, no 1 in at Leyton Orient yet.
Which I didn't expect. I thought Orient would have moved early this window.
Yeah. Maybe they're storing them all up. Like Peterborough. I mean, Peterborough have obviously had these ready to go. Yeah. Chris Clark's had the baby this week. Well, not him. He
looks well for it.
Yeah. Mansfield have had 5 in. God, I've forgotten about Fraser Blake Tracy. Northampton.
A baffling transfer, by the way.
Yeah.
Transfer.
Must have a shit hot agent.
Yeah. Or he must be willing to play for free.
Max Deitch has gone to Northampton from Woking.
Woking, yes. It's a loan again. That's a loan, is that? It says end of loan, which is weird. You don't see League One clubs loaning from the National League.
No, unless he's been loaned out. So there's something weird about how Transfermarkt do this.
He's been loaned
somewhere else.
He's been loaned back to Woking. So it says Max Dyche has been brought in from Woking. He left Woking, but if you look on the outs, he's there as a loan to Woking.
Right. Okay.
So he's been bought and then loaned straight back. Maybe that's what. Maybe that's what's happened with the thingy further up. Let's have a look. Bolton. No, it isn't. Strange one.
No 1 in at Reading, and then you've got Rotherham, who are,
8.
Yeah,
8
there's actual Liam Kelly, not Jeremy Kelly.
Yes.
But yeah, but lost a lot as well, and that was what was kind of leveled early on when people were taking the piss out of Rotherham. They're like, well, we've released, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Talaji Borja, as a bowler, has been released. Who was on loan at us, not last season, the season before, and he was dreadful for us. But again, we probably didn't see the best of him.
Harrison Biggins to Shrewsbury was an interesting one as well.
Donny fans hate him, though. They were glad to see him go.
I'm
Who
sure.
does he think he is stepping up to League One? Who does he think he is stepping up to League One? Does he think he's good enough for League One? Right, a month after they were telling us that he's definitely one of the best in the league and good enough to step up.
Stevenage had 3 in, but Dan Kemp and Louis Appere, which are, both decent signings.
Christ. I didn't see Dan Kemp going to Stevenage.
No. Well, is Jake Young gone anywhere yet? Is he still with you, technically?
He's contracted for another year and then an option. Unless someone comes in and pays money for him.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be looking at a Peterborough, a Barnsley. It'd be one of those two. That's what I've heard. That one of those two would be the team that would come in for him. Or that are interested.
Yeah, and then Wickham have had 1 in, Wrexham. The Wrexham fans are starting to get a little bit antsy. Yes. I think they are nervous because, obviously they do their big stadium US tour, which they're doing again this season. And they want to have players in place before that.
Well, they've announced Stephen Fletcher has signed a new 1-year deal today.
Great.
But,
for League One fans, Stephen Fletcher is a kind of 70-minute substitute who comes on and fucks shit up.
Yeah.
Essentially. But otherwise they've not signed anyone, and there's been some chat about whether their budget, we talked about this, and Ryan Reynolds, and it was on the documentary a couple of weeks ago, talking about League 2 money, League 1 money, Championship money, and much like, and there is another team in League 1 doing this at the moment, and Wrexham did it last season. They would have conversations with players and they would offer above the odds.
Yeah.
And then that becomes the kind of benchmark, the benchmark, and they value themselves at that price. It causes problems because then Wrexham can't sign everyone, and that's what happened last season. This season, they may be falling foul of that. And they had a great team. Arguably, they had a League 1 level team last season. So maybe they don't need to do much. The ones that have gone, your Aaron Hayden's, Luke Young's signed for Cheltenham today, I think, or yesterday.
Yesterday, I think it was.
Aaron Hayden's gone to Carlisle. They've all been picked up. Tozer's gone to Forest Green. He's gone home, essentially.
Yeah.
The other ones, Rob Lainton has been injury riddled. He's still without a club, but I'm sure he'll get picked up as League 2. Speaking of goalkeepers, Alex Bass has gone to Notts County today. He was on loan from Sunderland to Wimbledon.
He was, and then Notts County have bizarrely tweeted out saying that Alex Bass was the best goalkeeper in League 2 last season. When
he was the second best goalkeeper in League 2.
Exactly. He wasn't the best goalkeeper in League 2 last season.
And he wasn't there the whole season. Or no, isn't there something, if he had have been there the whole season, he would have been, like, if you
he was there all season, wasn't he?
No,
I'm sure he was there all season.
Injured. I don't know. There was something that if you extrapolated the minutes played or the games played, then he would have been better.
He played 44 league games. Yeah. He was there all season. He wasn't the best goalkeeper in League 2, and I'm still haunted by his time at Bradford. I'm still haunted by his first game at Bradford when he pulled off the save of the season and then the howler of the season at Walsall away, all within the space of like 5 minutes. It was like, this is what you could have, but I'm going to do this. And then we were like, well, we're getting one or the other. We're either getting someone that pulls off these amazing saves, or we're getting the one that did that shit. Turns out we got the latter for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I never
and
got
that
it.
does
I
work. Like Corey Adai at Crawley is very much like that. He will do something incredibly stupid and then pull off an incredible save. And for me, as much as I am fond of Corey Adai, Crawley needs to. That's where Crawley needs to kind of mature in that department, because they got away with it, quite honestly.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. MK Dons did not turn up in that playoffs, and you knew that Crew weren't. You knew after the first leg of Crew that that's the sort of performance they had in them. And if that Crew turned up, it was going to be easy for them. And it was the easiest playoff final I think anyone will ever have. It was the easiest playoff run anyone's ever had. I mean, what was it? 10 goals scored, 1 conceded in the playoffs.
Yeah, like, it was 8. Well, the second one was 8-1, wasn't it? And
so it was 8-1 in the 2 legs, and it was 2-0 in the final, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So 10-1 over all the playoffs, and then, I mean, you go from that. Let's work that out, right? So if I look at League 2 here, standings. There we go. No, why is it keep? I don't want to see playoffs. Right. If I look at League 2, right, Crawley in the playoffs scored 25% of Forest Green's goals for the entire season.
No way.
Forest Green scored 44 goals all season. Crawley scored 10 in 3 games.
Do you know what, though? I'm intrigued by Forest Green. So, yes, Toes has gone there. There's 2 Cheltenham players that have gone there. It feels like an odd... I mean, Tozer would have got picked up at League 2.
Yeah. He's throwing money. He's throwing money at it, but at the wrong time.
Well, I mean, the National League is horrific to get out of, regardless.
Yeah, oh, it is, but like, he should have thrown this money at it last season. This shouldn't have been something that...
In January, he looked like that's what he was doing. Or it was what he committed to do. And then there was everything with Troy Deeney, and it all went to...
Well, they signed Christian Doidge, didn't they? Like, from the SPL to the National League in 4 months.
Yeah. And what was your man called? The Derby, ex-Derby player?
Keogh.
Yeah, Richard Keogh. He just looked absolutely broken when we played them.
Well, he's still there as well.
Absolutely defeated.
He's still there. He's 38 now. He'll be 39 when the season kicks off. So is he going to play on? I don't know. No, he's 37 now. He'll be 38 when the season kicks off. But yeah, it just... I don't really understand throwing money at a problem that's well beyond... Like, this money should have been... If we're going to throw money at it, it should have been done.
Yeah. And Steve Cottrell... again, I think he is, we talk about managers, leaders, all the different kind of, and what he brings is, experience as a player and the kind of the mental side of it. But he should have been able to bring that, and he was incredibly frustrated that they weren't doing what he needed them to do on the pitch. But hopefully he'll be given the opportunity to try and turn things around as well.
Yeah, I'd like... There was no way that he was going to be held accountable for...
No, well, he couldn't have been, could he?
Yeah, exactly.
Inherited a mess.
I will just say, I know obviously you guys are playing Derby when you go to Spain, but Scott Loach, who's former Bradford goalkeeper at Derby, has just announced his retirement.
Oh,
I know. I was speaking to him last week, So I'm thinking we see if we can get him on for a little interview.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
And we'll have a chat about because he's moving into coaching. He's said that's his kind of his passion. He's got some stories, Hannah, because he went on. He played for England. He went on England duty, and he talks about like he shared the table with Steven Gerrard and this and the other, like in the canteen area and stuff. He's got some stories to tell, and I feel like we could really get a good thing going.
Share those stories.
Yeah.
I was just going to have a look to see what, if anything, has happened in the last few minutes.
You look at League One, I'll look at League Two.
It's just posh. It's Jed Steer has re-signed for the club, penning a 2-year deal. That's the last 4 tweets in League One.
Yes.
Yeah, because if anyone didn't know, on the @League One Look and @Lower League Look accounts, we have lists that you can follow for League One and League Two, which is really useful for transfer news to see what's going on. Barnsley have got boxing tickets on sale to season ticket holders.
Rory Feely has just signed an extension with Barrow.
Well,
that's just been announced. And aside from that, yeah, not much.
Shelley and Simpson apparently is the Barnsley boxing. I don't know. So that's the next one. So nothing to do with football. And then Ryan Alsop, who's signed for Birmingham.
Can we just, because we were talking about Posh earlier,
do
you know the lad that they signed from Rochdale?
Yeah. Never.
4 years plus an option. That's the deal they've given him. They've given him a 4-year deal plus an option, and they've paid 6 figures for him. For a National League player, this he must be good. But
he essentially he's in the National 18. League.
Yeah, but 18 years old, giving him a 4-year deal in League One, plus an option, a potential 5 years. He's going to be potentially 23 by the time that deal's up in League One, and he's played in the National League. Like, I find that so bizarre.
But that as well means they can depreciate that transfer fee over 5 years as well, doesn't it? Or 4 years.
I suppose it all depends on what they've agreed on, really. But yeah, I find it really, really strange. He's had 1 season in the National League. That's it.
I think that the interesting thing with Posh is, for Chris Conclark, George Nevitt, Odo, it's a gamble, isn't it? It's basically gambling. And they need one of those to be half decent and for them to be able to sell them on at a profit. So
that's the biggest gamble because of how much this reporter were paid.
Well, right. Although, yeah, on Transfermarkt it's saying €450. On Twitter it's £350,000. It's an interesting one, but there's no guarantees. You can be really, really, really good for National League and not be good enough for League Two, let alone League One.
Well, I mean, not even that. Look at Johnson Clark Harris. They sat on him.
I know,
and lost out.
And your Charlton, like Charlton offered I think it was 200 grand. Oh, they got Bristol. Wrexham supposedly as well. Yeah, but he nearly went to Bristol, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was a paperwork issue. And then people didn't want him enough in the January. Yeah. But I think Darragh would have claimed, that he still represented value for them, playing for them for the season.
So. Yeah, maybe so. It just there's some really, really. I feel like there's some big things still to happen. Some really big things to happen.
Well, there has to be. I mean, in League One particularly, you've got a third of the clubs that have barely done anything.
Yeah.
But like we say, transfer window opened
yesterday,
not even a week ago.
Well, yesterday, wasn't it? 14th.
No, it was last Friday.
Was it Friday? Oh, 14th, yeah, Friday. Fuck me out. We're further this month than I think.
It was Taylor Swift. Inside Out 2 came out and the transfer window opened.
What a wild day! What a wild day that is. That is just. I don't know how you survive the 24 hours.
Well, that's why I was so tired on Saturday.
And we had Germany-Scotland as well on the Friday night.
I missed that on account of Taylor Swift.
So did Scotland. on account of
That's where they were.
Scotland. Yeah, on account of being Scotland. Yeah, right. Well, have we got anything else?
Like we got through a lot, and there was a decent amount of football in there.
Yeah.
And some kind of vague equilibrium between League One and League Two, which is an achievement, I feel.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah. As well as a Billy and Bradford rant in the middle.
Because Harry, who's going to do the League One stuff, is in Marbella, Mallorca, Magaluf. It appears that he's got another football-related tattoo.
What's he done now?
It was just 4-1. That's all it says. And at first I thought someone had written on it, but on closer inspection, it does look like he might have got another tattoo. But what was 4-1? Oh, it was 4-1. I think it was that print that was that 4-1 when they got the game that Mansfield got promoted in. I think that was 4-1. Let me have a look. No, that's Wrexham's. Stephen Quit. I know it was 2-1. No, it wasn't that one then. Don't know.
Notts County away. I think it was. I was on holiday.
That was us.
No. Mansfield smashed Notts County at Notts County. I'm sure they did.
Or is it if they beaten Chesterfield 4-1? It could.
No. 14th of October. I was on holiday. It was the Saturday. I was on holiday. Mansfield 4, Notts County 1. Yeah, I remember. I watched that game. It was the early kickoff. I remember watching it on holiday later on a sun lounge. It was great. Yeah, he's got the wow, Harry. That is a really, really random game to pick.
It might not be. Maybe we can. Yeah, if any Mansfield fans listen to this and would like to explain to us before Harry does the significance of a 4-1 tattoo, be interested to hear it. It wouldn't be 4-1 though, would it? If it was at Notts County.
No, it wouldn't.
So it can't be that.
It's got to be. I think it is that. It's got to be that. That was there. I think when we asked him about his favourite point of the season, I'm sure that was the answer. That was his result of the season. Yeah, but
this time next week, it's we'll have fixtures out. Fixtures come out on Monday. That's exciting. We can plan our bank holiday Mondays and Christmas trips and all sorts.
So I'm looking here. It can only be that. Well, I mean, look, 4-1 is either Notts County, MK Dons, or no, even Notts County or MK Dons, but both were away, and he's got 4-1. So it's.
I'm sure. Right, we'll investigate.
That's a strange one. If he's got it the wrong way around, he's never
investigate/interrogate.
Yes. We will have that conversation.
And we'll
find out what's going on.
Well, he'll be back next week, so he can
explain himself. Well, it's been fun. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah. So regardless of how you've listened to this on Spotify, if you follow at Lower League Look, then all of the podcasts go on to there. On Twitter, we've got at League One Look and at Lower League Look. Is that everything?
Yeah. We're on a few other things like Instagram and stuff like that, but we don't really use them. But aside from that, yeah.
Charlotte wants to get her hands on our TikTok because we can do TikTok lives.
We can do TikTok lives, yeah.
I've not done one since Christmas dinner in a cup.
Yeah, we do need to utilize TikTok more, so we will also look at that.
She can have a little league look.
She can have a little league look, which again, I think that was a really good idea, and we need to push it. I have another idea as well, which I'm going to tell you about afterwards.
I have an idea. I have an idea.
I have an idea. Yes, still no idea what that's from, but it's fine. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for watching. It's been beautiful.
Yep. We'll talk
soon.
fixtures next week.
We can go through them.
Yeah.
Lovely. Bye, guys.
Bye.